Alright, here we are, game 2, real quick turnaround. And, knock on wood, nothing happens this time around. As Double Dimension, they have a 1-0 lead over this dire squad, consisting of BZZ and Yogi. Now we take a look, Bands of Lich and Venomancer by Double Dimension, and Nature's Prophet and Necro by the Dire. First pick of Ancient Apparition for Double Dimension, while Earthshaker and Puck are picked up by the Dire. So, Earthshaker, Puck, a little bit of lockdown for them in both the Dream Coil and the Fissure, as well as the Echo Slam and the Totem. So we'll have to see what Double Dimension want to do to counter all that.
Well, Double Dimension, they pick up the Ancient Apparition, pretty strong hero. His ulti is just like too good this patch, and he's also a really solid position 5 pick that doesn't give out a lot of information about your draft. Whereas for Dire, they pick Earthshaker, Puck. One of those heroes would be probably in the off lane or mid. And, you know, both of those heroes provide a ton of teamfight potential. Double Dimension, however, they pick up a Void, which is actually pretty good. So, the thing about Puck is he kind of gets everything about Void kind of owns Puck. Like, you can't phase shift out of the chrono, time dilation messes up your ability to spam your abilities, and in general Void can easily solo kill Puck in a chrono. So I'm really digging this Faceless Void pick, especially since it synergizes well with Ancient Apparition as well.
Yeah, Void and Ancient Apparition is one of those signature combos together. And Puck and Earthshaker, very susceptible to eating what Void throws their way. And Double Dimension with 3 more picks, 2 of which are going to be cores. What do you think in terms of those cores? Are going to go with this Void? Are we going to just see 2 ranged heroes from them? Could we see, a range mid and possibly throw Void off and get like a Drow or something?
You know, as we saw from last game with their Void winning with like a Brood core, is that sometimes you don't actually need anything to combo with the Chrono. The Chrono is pretty good on its own, especially if you play more of a safe lane Void, like a farming Void. Generally, the Void gets enough items to be able to get solo kills on his own, especially since his 2 targets are, so far, his 2 targets in this game are Earthshaker and Puck. So, don't necessarily, if you're Double Dimension, need to think about anything to combo Void. You're more worried about, or to combo with the Chrono, you're more worried about things that complement the hero itself, like stuff to keep him alive, or maybe something to cause a little bit of chaos in the fight so that your Chronos are a bit better. Definitely one way to handle the Void is just to be able to lock him down and kill him before he gets the Chrono off, and Disruptor with Static Storm is pretty good at that. Also pretty good at catching him with Glimpse.
You usually see a Disruptor lane against a Void, and Void's got to be really hesitant about using his escape, especially with Disruptor with Glimpse. I feel like a couple times Voids just get caught out because they've used their time walk, and then Disruptor pulls them right back, and that's it.
Now, both of these teams are drafting some pretty heavy team fight right now. Nature's Prophet is banned, Lich is banned, Venom's banned, so like that style of play where you're more like picking and choosing specifically how you want your fights is kind of thrown out the door, because Necro, Lich, and Venom, those are the heroes that kind of don't exactly want games with like heavy team fighting. Well, actually no, that's a lie, they kind of do, but like
5 seconds remaining.
They don't have like disable on their own, right? Whereas this game, we're pretty heavy on disables, and I'm not sure if it's just a decision by both teams to draft like this, or if they're just responding to the other team, being like, hey, if they want a team fight, we should also draft some pretty heavy team fight. And Nyx is also a great pick. I feel like Double Dimension is going for this sort of counter pick style, so they pick the Void to counter the Puck and Earthshaker, and then now they pick the Nyx to counter the Puck and Disruptors. So,
and I really like Nyx with Ancient Apparition. You see that like mid game they both hit level 6, and all of a sudden they're setting up with another hero where they get the Vendetta into the stun with the Ice Blast already on the way, and you see that time and time again where Nyx and Ancient Apparition just work so well together.
Yep. So the pickup potential from Double Dimension is super scary right now. Especially given how squishy the Dyer's lineup is.
Could you see something like Double Dimension picking up maybe a Storm where they kind of want this Nyx to work with a Storm to go after a couple of these heroes?
I think Storm comes online. I think the problem with Storm this patch is that he comes online a little bit later than you'd like. So one potential problem you have with Storm is that he can't help the Void. Like, Void wants to get his advantage early, and if you're fighting into a Puck and Disruptor, it's exceptionally hard as a Storm to have a good early game.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be stuck farming, and then the Void's not going to have enough damage on his own early on to make stuff happen. There's also another problem, which is that Storm's not good against Phantom Lancers, so Double Dimension probably should look to pick up a some form of AoE. Hard to say what specifically, but
really do like this team fight from the Dire. At the same time, same can be said about Double Dimension. It's just, it looks, you know, you think about the possibilities. I feel like Dire just have that one or two more scenarios that could work out for them in their favor. At least this
Dire's got like Dire's got the bigger wombo combo potential, but Double Dimension's got the higher pickup potential, if that makes sense. So if Double Dimension initiates first, I'm willing to bet that they will have the upper hand. But if Dire initiate first, Dire's gonna instantly take out like 3 heroes.
Dire's banned.
So they go with the Zeus. It's not something too common, but Zeus it is.
Works well with the Chrono. Does well against Phantom Lancer because that percentage... Well, first of all, the Arc Lightning hits the illusions super hard, but also the Static Field kind of instantly chunks all the illusions at once. And it works well with the Chrono.
And
Not sure how well he does against Puck. I'm willing to bet that Puck is going to demolish that lane in the early game. Since Puck can't actually get hit by Zeus's spells if Puck's paying attention, and also Puck's got a way better animation, way better attack damage. So Zeus this game is probably going to be one of those mids where he's sitting back getting what he can, but he's not going to be aggressive in the lane at all.
Could it possibly be still, because I've seen it a couple times, where maybe they go Puck off lane, Phantom Lancer mid?
That would be a good move as well, actually. Phantom Lancer is a surprisingly good laner for 2 reasons. First of all, he benefits a lot from Poor Man's Shield, and also his base damage is such that he can last it really well. I think he starts with 70 when he has a Poor Man's Shield, but throw that all out the window because we have a Viper from Double Dimension, which means that this Zeus is not mid.
Is he position 4 with Nyx in the offlane?
It possibly could. You could also somehow run maybe like a Boots first Zeus offlane.
Yeah.
Just to soak up EXP, but it's hard to say what they're thinking. I think the concept is good. Like, Zeus is good with just levels, right? He doesn't need farm. No matter how much farm Zeus gets, he's pretty much the same hero.
I feel like Zeus is also there to kind of help out the Nyx. You want to have your Nyx be able to be mobile. And if, you know, there's heavy wardage coming out from the Dire, Zeus is there to clean it up. Especially, we saw the Void go, Silver Edge last game, or Shadowblade? They could go in the same direction, and they just want, you know, a position for Zeus to de-ward for them and get them that open space.
Yep. It also doesn't help that I don't know who's who, so I can't actually identify which player's a support player, but we'll figure it out. It'll be a surprise.
Thank you, LeBron Dota, for using your real name. Just want to say, we appreciate it.
Well, I mean, they don't always use their real name. The bigger issue is that this isn't ticketed, but if it was a ticketed game, it would like force the official names to show.
Yeah.
I think most pro players don't want to have their full pro name in their in-game name when they're pubbing and stuff, or there's no reason to, so I don't blame them. Lifestealer, however, final pick, really good against Zeus, and if he uses the Puck as a vehicle, it can actually burst down the Void pretty well, and The only problem is that if Dire don't execute their team fight correctly, I can see Lifestealer having a lot of issues. Getting kited by the Viper, getting bashed up from the Zeus, and like getting bashed up from the Void. And
Zeus too.
I think eventually Void gets such like high armor values and like so much survivability that Lifestealer might have trouble if he's not snowballing this game.
He's got a couple of choices as mobility. I mean, the Earthshaker, when he gets a Blink Dagger, the puck, he could go with. You know, they could set up, even without the Blink Dagger on the Earthshaker, they could always set up with the Infest. And having the Disruptor glimpsing that hero back.
Feels like the real problem with Lifestealer in the last couple of patches is that Force Staff is just so good against them, right? Like, you can close the gap once, but if anyone else is around to Force Staff the target that Lifestealer's going on, or if the target himself has a Force Staff, then like it becomes a huge issue for Lifestealer. Especially if you're not at that point where you can just like 4-shot or 3-shot an opponent.
I feel like with what he's up against, it's hard to kind of have that ability to, 3 or 4-shot an opponent. But, as much as heroes might go Force Staff for the side of Double Dimension, if Glimpse isn't used yet, you can still close the distance that way.
Yep. So I think Dire's game plan in the team fight, since their team fight's so strong, is you kind of bait the enemy team to go on the Phantom Lancer, and then you counter initiate with the other 3 big team fight spells: the Echo, the Dream Coil, the Glimpse, the Static Field and Kinetic Field. The problem with, not the problem, but like one of the weird things about Dire's lineup is Earthshaker is actually better as a counter initiation just because of the AoE of the Aftershock. You'd rather have a scenario where the enemy team initiates first and then they're clumped up for the Echo. But in order for that to happen, you need to have like a primary initiator, which is not exactly lacking. Like, Glimpse can be considered some form of initiation, especially when combined with like a Fissure from a long distance or Dream Coil. But it kind of puts them in a weird situation where they want to burst down the Void, but that will only happen if the Void reveals himself first, or if they somehow find the Void.
So Disruptor does spot that Nyx. We take a look at the Ancient Apparition, a little bit of a deep lane ward here over bottom, but that
super deep lane ward.
Yeah. Ward
That's a really common D ward spot though. Well, if the enemy thinks you have a lane ward, they just place it smack in the middle of the lane, and I think that ward still gets caught. I think the trickiest place to place that ward is on the far right of the lane, like almost at the trees.
So like here, I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, around there or like below there. Really, the purpose of a lane ward is to spot if there's any rotations from the offlaner. So if the offlaner is moving out of the lane, then you know, hey, he's either going for the bounty rune, he's going for the river rune, or he's going to rotate mid. So then you rotate your support around to scout around for him. It's sort of like an advanced, you get an advanced warning basically of what's going on.
They've got the puck here with the Earthshaker. I just... Stun comes out onto this puck, still able to jaunt away.
This Viper's actually going to be late to the block because I think he was chasing the Disruptor or something. So he's not going to get his block, which, well, I guess the Phantom Lancer also missed his block. It's a bit of an interesting lane scenario. I think this is what threw me off the most about the Lifestealer pick, is that they end up laning a Phantom Lancer against the Viper, and you have like this Earthshaker Disruptor support duo, which can't really help the Phantom Lancer. I'm fairly certain that Phantom Lancer doesn't win this lane.
Who's going to come over for the Radiant side, though, if they're looking for help? Meanwhile, top, it's an off-lane Zeus, so it looks as though it's going to be that off-lane Zeus that you said it was going to be, not the 4 I thought it was going to be, but more position for Nyx.
I mean, I think something weird happened, right? The Nyx has a 4-man shield, which implies that he was intended to be the offlaner, but maybe he just made some odd maneuvers.
Maybe he could still be the offlaner here, but it looks as though Zeus is the one trying to last it.
And you mentioned something about like who does the Radiant send to help the Viper. I think this is one of the lanes where you actually don't want to help the Viper. Like, you want to get as much done. When your lane wins by default, you want to get as much done in the other lanes as possible. The only thing is like he's taking quite a bit of damage here somehow.
Yeah, he almost went down earlier as the I think the Earthshaker hit the fissure. He just Viper ended up on the opposite side of it.
And he has to be careful about that. Oh, Zeus might be in a tricky spot here.
There's the kinetic field. Actually not stuck in it. He almost turned around back in it, but now Nyx is going to try and TP out. They don't have anything to stop it. He'll be able to just escape.
Yeah. The classic TP out of the lane.
So, take a look at this Void up against the Puck. Puck about half health. Wouldn't be surprised if maybe you get that nice value bash from the Void. All of a sudden, Puck goes down.
Yeah, but I think generally Puck's gonna win this lane just because of the range advantage. Wow.
Let's see what happens is they've got the Ancient Apparition nearby. Chilling Touch is placed on him in the Void. And one shot from that Ancient Apparition. I feel like it always surprises me when he hits so hard, despite me playing that hero so much.
Yep.
But he hits that Puck hard with Chilling Touch.
Void's a bit of an interesting hero in that he wins like certain lane matchups where they can't deal with the time walk or like can't harass him properly, because like Void's like the king of trading hits if you can't actually kill him in one go. That's a result. Oh, will they find him? They didn't find him.
Aside, they are going down, so not.
That's weird. I would think that it would be. I guess they weren't paying attention to the particular trajectory of the orb, but looks like the Puck is fine for now.
Take a look over mid. Earthshaker coming back, and that fissure is gonna block off the stairs. So Viper getting a little bit low. Nyx is gonna make the rotation over. They start to hit away at this Earthshaker. Nyx looking for an opening, and there's that fissure finally dissolving. Viper still alive. Phantomites are still coming in. They might be able to just grab this kill. He's
Fissure
very close. That fissure is up. Still level 1 is the Earthshaker. TP over from the Ancient Apparition. Spots this Earthshaker. And we'll still get that bounty. But maybe he'd fissure for it.
Viper has consumed quite a bit of regen considering this lane. I don't know if he should be burning through this much consumables at this point, but he's still alive, which is a good thing. The thing about Viper is like from an era of like what I used to call like statue mid Dota, where like your mids wouldn't want to move out of the mid lane. These are usually heroes like Odie, Viper, sort of like Shadow Fiend, but Shadow Fiend can jungle. These heroes don't want to leave the mid lane because they don't have normal farming mechanisms that are quick, and also they're not good at performing rotations. And so these heroes excel when they're allowed to sit in the mid lane and just get last hits for 10 minutes.
Viper not doing a terrible job despite being 10 CS down on the Phantom Lancer.
Yeah, Phantom Lancer's a surprisingly good mid hero.
And he's just kind of changed into that role recently, I feel like. You didn't see him there before, but in TI a little bit, and pre and post TI we've seen him there a couple of times.
He's tough to kill, and he's got really good base stats, I think is the main thing.
Phantom Lancer doesn't really have a lot of mana. He's got to be careful just eating these shots from the Viper.
No. I think now that Viper's at good health, he's in a position to play aggressively. He's also got that raindrop, which makes it harder to kill him. The Lance cooldown and the raindrop cooldown are like identical. But as I say that,
take a look over mid. Viper getting very low. There's the glimpse back. Should be first blood. Finally is going to go to the way of BZZ. And Phantom Lancer puts his team on the board 1-0. 6.5 minutes in. Finally first blood comes out.
a little bit of an overstep from Viper there. I'm not sure if he should have been that close to the tower or really that far up into the lane to begin with so many heroes off the map. We do have a smoke coming up from the Earthshaker and the Disruptor. We'll see where they go. In fact, I think one of their best moves right now might be to kill the Viper again, which would pretty much completely remove the Viper from the mid-game.
Got the Nyx here to try and babysit a little bit. They are looking like they're going to go towards bottom. No Chronosphere available just yet, but Void isn't too far off from that level 6. And that deny is going to give him Chronosphere, so they are going to come in. Let's see if this does end up working for them. And there's the Chronosphere, but they've also got the Earthshaker around. So he can't get out just yet. Doesn't have enough mana for that time walk out. Glimpse back into the Dire team, but away from the Earthshaker.
Interesting, interesting glimpse.
I think that actually saves the life of this Void.
Yep. The Puck would have had both his spells lined up in that corner, I think. Oh, although
Zeus very low, Nyx very low.
Zeus is getting a surprising amount of levels from this lane. He's level 5. Does look like the Zeus has farming priority on this lane, though, so that's a bit interesting.
It should be interesting how that turns out for the Radiant side. And again, here's Earthshaker over bottom. No mana really on this Void once again. Gotta be very careful.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
If I were him, oh, I guess he's clearing up, but if I were him, I would have tapped the shrine probably.
8.5 minutes in, Shrine still available. They're converging over mid. Glimpse back on the Viper. You look towards this Earthshaker. He gets that totem. Still Viper not dead, but the Fissure will follow it up. And a big stun from LeBron, but a little bit of a body block from him as well, which ends up getting the Viper killed.
Yeah. I don't know if he's just playing aggressive for CS, but it definitely feels like he's in these situations he shouldn't be in.
Meanwhile, bottom, they get that kill on the Void using Dream Coil. Puck still very low. Trying to get out of here. The slow comes in from the Ancient Apparition, not level 6. And a little bit of pathing. Oh. Almost gets the
phase shift.
Keeping him alive.
Like a drunk sailor.
So 3-0 in favor of the Dire. So you're 2,000 back on the Radiant side. You've got top 2 net worth Lifestealer and Phantom Lancer. Not terribly far behind as the Viper and Void, but still almost about 1,000 net worth between the two of them. What do you really do if you're the Radiant? Are you looking to fight, or are you just trying to stay stationary and farm as best you can?
I think you just keep an eye on the lanes, and when you see an opening, they'll probably rotate a couple heroes around. The thing about Void is, like, Void doesn't want to always be the first one to rotate. It's really obvious when your Void goes missing off the map in the first 15 minutes that he's going for a gank, because the thing he wants to be doing the most in the first 15 minutes is just farming. So I think Dire's going to be suspicious if they see the Void missing for too long. Looks like Radiant are going for a smoke here. They moved the Nyx and the Ancient Apparition around. The thing, though, is that the Nyx isn't level 6 yet, so I think their best kill would be to follow up with a Chrono on the bottom lane. And they do see the Puck in the bottom lane, so they might go for this. It's a pretty easy kill if they open with the Chrono and then follow up with the Cold Feet and Impale. But perhaps this Puck is aware.
Yeah, Puck not moving up just yet. He ends up going to the side near where the Ancient Apparition is.
They have vision of him. The Void's stepping closer. I think that step might have given it away.
Puck ends up backing up all the way to tower. Could still go on him if he moves a little bit further forward, but Puck playing it very safe right now.
Yep. And the Puck looked at the Void and It's like, hey, this Void's like stepping at me a little bit funny.
Now they've
Maybe
got
he
2
has
heroes
vision of
coming
me.
over. We've got the Earthshaker and the Disruptor. Level 6 on the Disruptor and level 4 on this Earthshaker. So if Void even goes in, this could be turned around pretty easily. They've got the Fissure, Static Storm, Kinetic Field. He's in a lot of trouble, getting very low. And with the Illusory Orb as well as the Waning Rift, they'll be able to take out this Void.
That rotation felt really funny because I think the puck definitely should have died there, and if the puck dies there, obviously the Void doesn't die there. So I think Radiant have like a double whammy because they failed the gank, wasted the time of their supports, and they lost their Void. And it looks like there's a lot of heroes converging mid. They still have the Dream Coil on the puck.
Glimpse as well as the Kinetic Field. A nice big stun on 3 from the Nyx. Wow. Saving the life of the Viper and getting themselves a kill on the puck. The big thing I was going to say is they want both their supports to be level 6. And
Chrono.
see that Chronosphere comes down on the Disruptor. Ulti from the Zeus. They get the kill. Cold Feet expended with that. And Void has got to try and time walk across the river and finds that spot.
It's actually really difficult to play puck against Nyx, especially if you don't have vision of him, because the Nyx has so many spells to use his Carapace on. And I think that's exactly what happened there. The Nyx just walked next to the puck, turned on his Carapace, and as soon as the puck used his orb, it was pretty much over.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So now you've got your supports level 6 for Double Dimension. That opens up the whole Chronosphere Ice Blast, or the Vendetta into the Ice Blast. Does that open up the game for them despite being down 3,000 net worth? Like, is that what they're going to have to use to really bring themselves back even?
It really does, but that first rotation from that first smoke from the AA and Nyx that we saw fail really made me lose, I guess, my confidence in their ability to do that. But they're really gonna have to do things differently if they want to come back into this game. Feels like they're just reacting to Dire's movements right now.
Now, Fissure comes out, Spike Carapace used by the Nyx. They're going to glimpse back this Viper, puts him in a little bit of trouble again, but there's the Ice Blast. I think, nope, he did not avoid it on the Phantom Lancer. I thought he got close enough to avoid it. And both teams use quite a bit of ultis. Nothing happens between the two. A little bit of damage here, a little bit of damage there. And both teams disengage.
Lifestealer does get a tower, though, which propels him even further into the top net worth. And feels like Radiant's gonna have this window where they're actually not able to deal with the Lifestealer.
Phantom Lancer moving forward. He's here with a couple of teammates, so I don't know if Nyx really wants to go in on this, but now he's under the Sentry Ward. He finally gets out of it, and he is standing over this double damage, so Phantom Lancer can't go over it, and maybe that's Nyx suspecting that they've got vision there. Or not.
Cool rotation from the puck and Earthshaker. Sort of like, I don't know if they were predicting a gank on the Lifestealer or if they wanted to just make sure that it absolutely wasn't going to happen, but Lifestealer's getting pretty close to his Desolator now. I think he's one Mithril Hammer away. Yes. And when they have that, it makes it a lot easier for Dire to take objectives, to go for those quick kills, as I was mentioning, those like 3 to 4 shots. Well, not exactly 3 to 4 shots, but like basically the instant enough that the enemy team doesn't have time to react, right? Because I think their goal with the Lifestealer is to either burst down the Void really quickly or burst down the Viper really quickly. Most likely, I think they're going to ignore the Viper in fights just because he's not super high in the network chart. The Void is definitely the priority for them this game. And looks like there's a huge rotation coming in from the Radiant. They have 3 heroes, big heroes smoked up here.
Yeah, so they're going to look to get themselves the Chronosphere, and Phantom Lancer just doesn't get out of it, and there's the Ice Blast. Should be enough, and it will be. Zeus uses that ult. Now you look at the Lifestealer. 1, 2, 3, 4 shots. You're correct so far. And they are going to end up taking out that Earthshaker as well. They get the glimpse back here on the Nyx. He's silenced up into that Static Storm. There's the nice Lifestealer ulti pop that you're looking for, and they do end up picking off the Nyx as well.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Well, that was, I guess, 2-for-2 trade, but the real victory for Radiant is that they take that mid tower, and Mid towers are super important in this game right now, since they open up your jungle. They allow for like bigger smoke movements, and more importantly, it makes it easier for you to take Roche or fight around Roche if that tier 1 is down.
Radiant's middle tower can't handle this deluge.
So Viper starting to get a little bit of farm. He's got that Dragonlance looking for the Maelstrom next. Looking for that nice attack speed for him.
He needs that farming item. Viper absolutely needs Maelstrom in games where he needs to farm.
And they find the Puck, and not going to line up that stun. Puck
That was
trying to
really
get away.
greedy.
One shot more would kill him off, but he is okay for now. I don't think they're going to be able to connect with him.
That's super
Ice
greedy,
Blast.
actually. The Nyx could have done literally anything else, and it would have resulted in the kill. Like, just sitting there with Carapace or opening with the Impale would have resulted in the kill. The cool thing about Nyx against Puck is if you just like sit on top of him with the Carapace, there's actually almost no way for the Puck to dodge. If the Puck has to orb or use the silence.
Radiant are scanning for enemies.
So Radiant get a nice scan here. We take a look up top. There's the kinetic field. They were looking for that Void. Doesn't have Chronosphere just yet, and they're going to glimpse back the Viper. Just to get out of harm's way.
Yep.
So really sitting on that top of the net worth is the Lifestealer, and he has finished off that Desolator. He's now infested into the Puck. They are going to spot this with the Nyx, but they don't know that the Lifestealer's in there either.
I don't think he goes for this. I think he's just scouting to see where the Puck's going.
Maybe the rest of his team comes over, but Ice Blast already used. Maybe they don't want to go in on that after that's already expended.
Well, they might go in the Void.
And they blink on over. Waning Rift's going to come out on two, but the Spike Carapace slows down this Puck. Puck avoids the ulti from the Zeus with that phase shift, and they're going to bring the Void back into the Static Storm, get themselves at least one. They're going to try and TP out. Ice Blast will finish off the Lifestealer. So they end up getting at least one. Looking for the Spike Carapace is the Nyx. Not going to find it, and BZZ is going to be forced to retreat. He does have that Diffusal.
It's also another cool interaction that I forgot about, that the Lifestealer always gets stunned if he releases it next to a Carapace Nyx. And I think that's what happened there. Although the Carapace was, I think, level 2 at the time, so it didn't make that big of a deal. I think it still prevented the Lifestealer and Puck from killing the Void as quickly as they wanted to.
So 2,000 net worth
For now, both teams pretty content farming. Radiant's missing 2 of their ultis, and so are Dire, so I think Dire's still sitting on a pretty comfortable net worth lead. The only thing is that they probably want the travels on Phantom Lancer. He has that queued up along with an eggs. Earthshaker has his blink, and the Lifestealer's infested in the Earthshaker now, so they might go for a kill in that form. I think something Dire has to realize, though, is that Radiant's done quite a good job of counter-initiating the Nyx, so basically there's only 2 ways for Dire to guarantee a kill on Radiant right now. One of them is smoke, and the other one is to just have a gem, so they know if the Nyx is around. Looks like teams are going to trade 1-for-1 these towers, though.
Ice Blast is coming out bottom. They're trying to deter BZZ.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower needs some friends. Same as you, Tyler. Radiant's bottom tower faces a stiff wind. Dire's top
I think
Take a tier 1.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
this Lifestealer's not farming while he's in the Earthshaker, right? So he's kind of losing a lot of efficiency right now. Looks like Earthshaker's TPing top. They might be planning to take a fight up here. Not a lot of vision coming out from Dire, but they do waste a Chrono on the Illusion.
Yeah, Illusion is going to be taken out. That
What's
Faceless
happening
Lord
here?
is going to try and TP away. Ice Blast comes through, hits on the Earthshaker, but Viper's not going to have enough damage to take him out, so they lose the Viper, and that's really what you're forced to deal with, since he kind of botched that Chronosphere.
Feels like no one on Dire is holding up the detection. This His Nyx is basically just able to run around wherever he wants.
Spike Carapace already used. He does have Dream Coil if he wants to keep him nearby. He does, but now you gotta see if they have the damage. No Vendetta just yet. Here comes the Lifestealer, and that should be enough to clean him up, so... End up using the Dream Coil just to stop that TP, but keeps him there long enough for the Lifestealer to get himself a kill.
Radiant's pretty happy with us, I think. Still, the team that went better than expected, considering that the Chrono was botched. Void does have his Maelstrom now, so the one issue, or the one benefit that Void has this game is there's no saves for the Chrono, so if he Chronos someone, it's pretty much a death sentence. He just has to be careful of his positioning to make sure he's not the first one that gets gone on.
Got 3 heroes over mid, still trying to take out that mid tier 1. No Chronosphere up just yet for 25 seconds, and Nyx showing himself over mid. There's the Blink with a Waning Rift. They've got the Kinetic Field and the Static Storm. He's actually glimpsed out of it, and that might save his life. Meanwhile, the Zeus goes down to the Lifestealer. They look towards getting this Disruptor. They'll get themselves at least one, and now they're looking at BZZ. They've got Cold Feet. They're getting him real low and will get the kill. It's a Waning Rift on 3 and a jaunt out with that Illusory Orb, but you've already lost a couple of these heroes. Ancient Apparition's going to go down next. You've got the Dream Coil coming out on 2. Viper hits away at the puck, just trying to survive the onslaught from this Lifestealer, and a Chronosphere follows it up. Unfortunately for them, it's going to lock up this Viper for a little bit too long. They end up getting the Earthshaker, but it should be the Viper's life as well. And there it is.
Oh, pretty good teamfight for Dire. These glimpses have been quite interesting. I think maybe the Disruptor is like overestimating how much damage his team can deliver outside of the static field, but definitely went well for Dire. They also get that mid tower, which is huge. Looks like Lifestealer is starting to work on a Abyssal. He's even got the, I think he's got the Basher on the Courier coming. Yep.
I think if Viper survives that last fight, it's almost a Radiant win.
Yep. Well, it would have been put them in a lot better position.
Yes.
Haven't really seen this Zeus do too much, and absolutely deleted right there.
I think he probably feels like he's in a weird position, right? You never really play offlane Zeus, and your instinct as an offlaner is that you always need to get more farmed. In reality, this game, I think he probably needs to fight around his Void and Nyx, because the Viper's gonna want to farm for a little bit. Like, Viper has no gank potential at all. Like, Viper can right-click people, but he doesn't have that burst that you need in certain smoke ganks. And so, instead of, like, continually going to the offlane, I think the Zeus should probably look for kills with his Void and Nyx just to help keep them in the game. Viper's the kind of hero that thrives when his team thrives. And it's not really happening right now. It looks like they're just losing more and more net worth.
Now, Lifestealer still working towards that Abyssal Blade. And this farm is pretty good right now. Top of the net worth by 2,000 above this Void, who's working on a BKB. There's the Ice Blast onto the Lifestealer. Can they get this kill? They've got the stun to follow it up from the Nyx, and they will. So Viper getting credit for that unstoppable kill streak end, and gets a lot of gold for that one kill.
He really needed that too. I think that puts him a little bit back on the charts.
So, meanwhile,
Viper definitely has the potential to kite the Lifestealer really hard this game.
Over bottom, you've got this puck hitting away and putting chip damage into this bottom tier 3.
Looks like Void's just straight up going for a BKB to survive these fights.
So coming around the bend is going to be this puck. think they're looking to make something happen. They do have Dream Coil. Blinks in with the Waning Rift, but will get out with the Illusory Orb. And, Void. Glimpse to safety.
Phantom Lance opted for this Aghanim Scepter build with the Spirit Lance damage talent. It makes his it makes the Spirit Lance chain, which helps him clear creep waves and camps really quickly. I think they were gonna go for a smoke, but that Zeus ult revealed it.
Yeah, they'll smoke it anyway, and actually behind enemy lines is the Nyx.
Oh, that's some chat wheeling. No, I think they should give the chat wheel the Darkseer treatment. Give it a mana cost, increase the cooldown.
That would be interesting if they had a mana cost. 50 for ally, 150 for anything that everybody can hear.
Puts your ulti on cooldown.
So they're coming over to try and contest this Roche, but I don't think they can. And Nyx actually comes in. There's the Static Storm. Roche is right by him. He's silenced up for now. Not going to be able to steal that Aegis. Lifestealer finishes him off. They work towards this Disruptor. He's going to get to the high ground. Viper, he doesn't commit. He actually turns around for a moment. Finally gets that kill. It ends up being a 1-for-1. But they get the Aegis onto the Lifestealer, which makes Dire a frightening force.
Yep, Lifestealer is actually a surprisingly good high grounder. You have the low cooldown magic community, and now that he has the Aegis, I wouldn't be surprised if Dire tries to take some additional objectives, maybe even try to get the tier 3 out of this. They really don't have... The Lifestealer doesn't have to be afraid when he has the Aegis, because Radiant's initiation only works once, which is the Chrono. And so if the Chrono gets expended on the Aegis, the Lifestealer gets like a free pass on the second life. Almost a free pass, rather.
Let's check.
The problem I see...
Puck coming over, infested. There's the pop. Void not dead just yet, but there's the bash on the first hit. They've got the kinetic field, but that's not going to grab anybody.
Oh, looks like that initiation didn't work, but they do a lot of damage to the Void. I don't think they're going to get the tier 2 off of this, so Dire's going to look to reset, maybe get the lanes pushed out. Their mid or their top and bottom need to be taken care of, especially with a Zeus pushing out top. The Zeus has sort of been silent, but he's kept up in farm with the Void, and he's even got a Midas, so starting to work on that Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah. I was just gonna bring that up if they can, you know, throw that right into a Chronosphere or something. Or...
I think it works in the Chrono. I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure it does. The Aghanim's ulti on the Zeus, which spawns something that causes or that like casts lightning bolt on a random target. It's a huge meme as soon as you get the 0.5 second lightning bolt mini stun. It basically sometimes immobilizes people.
Actually, we'll see if that does work inside the Chrono. I had no idea before I thought about that.
Notice like Puck is he's sometimes just randomly phase shifting, so he's definitely feeling some pressure from the Nyx being missing on the map right now. This Nyx has been doing a really good job of scouting out the enemy team, scouting out where the Puck is, making sure they're not getting ganks. Same with the random Zeus ultis as well. They definitely need to... They're kind of on the back foot, because as I said earlier in the draft, like if they get caught first by Dire's team fight, it's actually quite scary. It just feels like Dire's maybe not respecting the Nyx enough, maybe not planting enough sentries, or I would have even picked up a gem after the Aegis pick up.
So Lifestealer finishes off this Abyssal. You've got a Puck working on Dagon. It just seems like Dire might be hitting a nice power spike despite only being up 3,000 net worth. Maybe we see them take these fights a little bit more confidently.
The problem with prolonging the game for Dire, I think, is that as the Void gets stronger, he gets like more and more able to just kill like any target in his chrono, especially with that BKB. And he probably the Void probably recognizes that too. He's going for a Shadow Blade first or next, so.
That was the build he went with the previous game too. I've got Zeus nearby.
Basically needs that. He needs that Shadow Blade, and he probably wants something like a Diffusal Manta or like a Daedalus to do like insane amounts of damage. And how about enemy jungle? Looks like
2 seconds till Vendetta. There it is.
Nick's just causing some shenanigans while the Viper farms up top.
Doing a very good job of scouting these heroes. They've got a lot of ability to scout with the ulti from Zeus, the Nyx that's going to be running around. They can really set up quite well each time that Vendetta's off cooldown.
We haven't seen it yet, but I actually think that Zeus is really good against Phantom Lancer in these team fights, especially Zeus's ability to clear the illusions. So I'm not sure if these core matchups work out well for Dire at all. Like, Viper kind of kites Lifestealer around really well. I think if Radiant do a good job of purchasing 4 staffs and playing next to each other, they shouldn't have an issue in these fights, unless they get caught like 3 at a time.
That is way too many illusions.
Feels like neither team feels strong enough to just waltz at the other enemy.
So Nyx up top by himself. As Vendetta off cooldown, just continuing to push up top. The rest of the team for the Radiant is here. And Phantom Lancer is showing himself. No Aegis, no nothing. Diffusal Blade with the Ags ready to go. He does move up a little bit far. But now up top, Nyx. Overstays is welcome. Killed off by the Earthshaker and the Lifestealer.
Yep. The Lifestealer infests again. They're going to go for round 2. Fun fact, it looks like the Shrine doesn't heal the Lifestealer while the Lifestealer is infested in someone.
That is interesting.
Waiting for another kill. They might spot out the Viper here. He does have his blink.
They have Echo Slam if they want to start with that. BKB's popped. Wow.
But,
did he feel the presence?
Yeah. Could go for the Void here.
Does he die for sure if he doesn't use that BKB?
He dies for sure, yeah. That's going to be a triple stun and an Abyssal from the Earthshaker.
That is a great point. I forgot how much Earthshaker just locks you down, and the Abyssal Blade on the Lifestealer. Who's still sitting
There's also an Axe coming up on the Disruptor.
Axe finished on Zeus? No, it is not. But he has the money for it. And there it is.
Just walking into a sentry. I think Earthshaker knew something was up. He broke the smoke there, I think. The AA.
I'm not certain.
Dire's just gonna play it safe. I think they know the enemy team's sort of smoked up. Or at least, like, up to something. Zeus is actually starting to get into, insane damage territory.
Yeah, this could get scary for the side of the Dire. They're up 5,000 net worth, but I feel like Zeus can make anything happen.
Yep. Plus the chrono.
Here's Nimbus thrown forward, but onto nothing.
Looks like the Lifesteal's infested on the puck.
Nyx is
Again,
setting up.
They have the gem on the Earthshaker now, so it makes it a little bit easier for them to play around the Nyx. you're Dire, you might think, hey, the Zeus uses ulti, the Nyx is... We know the Nyx is Vendetta, so... Maybe it's time to make a move. The Lifestealers start to slowly fall behind because he's just been infested in creeps for so long. Or, sorry, infested in heroes.
Okay, now he's infested over on the Puck. He was infested for the Earthshaker in the Earthshaker for so long, and now over to the Puck. With Viper.
The other thing is, Dire looks like they're stalling this game, but I'm not entirely certain that the game gets easier for them as the game goes on.
I mean, the high ground's going to be pretty hard, especially if this Nyx does grab his Ags.
Yep.
That with Zeus, it just seems like that's going to be such a nuisance to get past.
You still have the Lifestealer with Rage to hit the tower a couple times. The problem is I think they didn't get anything done with the Aegis.
Nyx stops that Earthshaker TP. He's going to go invis, but dust it up. There's the Ice Blast. I think Nyx is in a little bit of trouble. Glimpse back, but he's still on the cliff. Okay for now. Zeus does get the kill on the Earthshaker. Now Void cliffs himself. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. He clipped himself to get the gem, actually, so that was pretty important.
That is true.
It means that Dire doesn't really have a way to like move around as easily without bumping to the Nyx.
Radiant's bottom tower faces a stiff wind.
And Viper. Hurricane pikes himself forward, but there it is. There's the glimpse back, so he's got to watch out. He's in the kinetic field. There's the Nimbus with the shots coming in from this Viper. BKB is going to be used. He'll get one for his troubles, but dead for 80 seconds.
I think with that, Dire's going to want to go for Roshan.
No Nimbus.
If they get this Aegis and Cheese, I think the Lifestealer is going to be in a really comfortable position to high ground. The problem is they don't have any detection right now. The Nyx is just going to be able to walk into the pit. And I think with this next AA ult...
Dust, nobody dust.
No one's got dust.
Void has Chronosphere.
Yep.
Oh, there's the sentry. It spots him.
Bit of dancing around here, but looks like no one will get Roche for now. Dire have to respect the Chronosphere and AA ult when it comes to the Roche pit.
Considerable amount of Ags coming out in this game. Not really something you see too often with just a lot of heroes just getting Ags. Chronosphere used on the Disruptor with the Nimbus. We'll get the kill. Phantom Lancer walks into it. Now he's struck by that lightning bolt, but the Echo Slam comes through. Ice Blast is going to be following it up. And let's see, can they grab this Earthshaker? They will with the ulti flying in from the Zeus, so a 2-for-1 thus far. That Void's a pretty big kill.
That Void died in a hurry. I think, guess he did BKB or something, but this Lifestealer does a ton of physical damage right now, and they do recover the gem back, which is really good for them. The problem is they still can't get Roche. Like, I think if either the Void or the Viper are alive, this Lifestealer has to, like, fear for his life. Even though Lifestealer does a lot of damage right now, there's really nothing stopping him from getting kited from the Viper or just getting killed in Chronosphere.
It was interesting that they used the Chronosphere on just the Disruptor.
Yeah, he's done that twice now. Think of it. I think it's more like a instinctive reaction. Like you see a big team fight hero, you just run
Puck, he's not in a lot of trouble. It's the Nyx who's in a lot of trouble, and Puck will end up getting that kill. A Sentry Ward on the high ground, a nice spot for it. This should pretty much lock up Roche for him. No Chronosphere, no Zeus ult. As I say that, they go on the Earthshaker. Ice Blast lined up like Peyton Manning. A nice toss over there. Nimbus comes out on two heroes, on both the Lifestealer and the Disruptor. A pretty good fight thus far for the Radiant, but Viper might be in a little bit of trouble. He finally gets himself to the high ground, hit with the Static Storm and the Dream Coil. Jesus, and now the ulti finally flies in from the Zeus. Very low is going to be this Phantom Lancer. Chronosphere is going to hit on 2. They finally get themselves 1 and 2. Got the shop open for some reason on my screen, but they do end up getting themselves 3 kills. Can they get that one last shot on the Phantom Lancer? No, they can't. He TPs out successfully, and that is Gem back into the hands of the Radiant.
Most importantly, they get the they probably get the Roshan here. This Aegis was pretty much the win condition for the Lifestealer, right? Because the Lifestealer needs 2 lives to survive the Chrono and be able to high ground, but looks like they won't get it this time. In fact, the Void gets it, which is a big deal for him as well, because basically each team only has like 1 round of spells to kill each other.
Earthshaker trying to come in. He's got Echo Slam. He's going to use it. The Aegis is picked up by the Earthshaker. He steals it right under the nose of the Radiant side. So where we thought they had the win here, or not the win, but at least the Aegis working well with the Void. They're going to lose the Nyx. They'll lose the Zeus, lose the Aegis. None of those heroes have buyback, and they're going to lose the Ancient Apparition as well. Oh my. Double Dimension just caught with their pants down there.
Yep. Dire getting the lanes in. I imagine they're going to get quite a bit of tier 3 damage here. Really nothing for them to be afraid of when those 3 heroes are down, because like the Void does a lot of damage on his own, but most of the damage right now is coming from the AA and the Zeus. And this Nyx has been doing a really good job of just creating chaos in the backline.
Push over mid. All these illusions with BCC is just working towards this tier 3. There's the Glimpse kinetic field. Hurricane Pike's going to get him out. These illusions, though, have taken away half his mana. And they're continuing to work on this tier 3 over mid. You take a look. Phantom Lancer, he's going to try and get himself out. Does get himself down to the low ground.
It's like Dire retreating. They want to get those lanes out. Cool thing about Nimbus is you can use it to push out lanes as well. Looks like this Lifestealer is actually fallen behind the Zeus. I think this is just the result of him being invested in heroes for so long.
Yeah.
They probably wanted to get more out of it than they did, but Radiant's been doing a really good job of playing around the enemy's aggression.
So they do smoke up. They've got the Vendetta used by the Nyx. They're going to head over mid. They're showing the Viper for now. He's got no mana left.
He's got 17 wand charges. He's basically just a right-click machine at this point, though.
Oh, that ward is going to get spotted on the edge. It's actually bad news for them. They look towards this Void, who's going to get himself his health back as he's hit with that Dag, and you've got the Nimbus coming down on the Lifestealer. Chronosphere comes in, but it's only on 1. So let's see if they can make anything happen. They start to hit away. He gets himself out of the Static Storm. They finally take out this Lifestealer. Now trying to get away with the Illusory Orb is going to be the Puck. They've got 4 heroes down low as they turn their attention towards the Nyx. They'll take one of their own, but they'll lose a second in the Disruptor.
I think this is really Radiant's lineup kicking in. You got the ranged potential from the Viper and super high damage from the Zeus. Starting to show Dire are kind of in a worse than worse spot. I think they really have to burst down one of these core heroes at the start of the fight, but Radiant's really not going to let that happen easily.
Yeah, they almost got that Void, but BKB, and then he time-walked all that damage away.
Yep. As long as Radiants are playing next to each other, I think they'll be fine. Well, relatively next to each other.
Viper up top. Hurricane Pikes away. Here comes the Earthshaker. Fissure not in the best of spots, and there's the BKB used by the Viper. Nice blast thrown forward, and Earthshaker not going to move up too far.
That Earthshaker opened with Fissure, but I think he should have blinked in and used the enchant totem. I think he wanted to Fissure and then blink in, but unfortunately the corrosive skin cancels his blink, so he wasn't able to chain stun the Viper. And interesting item trust from Phantom Lancer. He's picked up a blink and he's going for a butterfly next. Definitely not a heart game for him, since Zeus kind of just shreds through high HP targets. Puck's gonna start hitting level 25 territory. Got that dank plus 420 GPM. Moon shards for everyone.
Hopefully so. In terms of level 25 stuff for the Radiant side, 20% evasion or plus 600 time walk cast range. For the Void, Viper's already taken the 20 armor.
Definitely
Nyx,
get the time walk cast range on Void.
Nyx has level 20 and 25 to go, plus 120 gold per minute or 40 agility. And then at 25, 40 move speed or plus 100% damage on spiked carapace damage. Zeus getting close to level 25, that 200 cast range or plus 2% static field damage. And then Ancient Apparition far behind, looking for either 400 health or a couple of things. And a fight happens up top. You take a look at the Lifestealer, already used that rage. There's the Chronosphere coming through, and the Phantom Lancer. Ice Blast follows it up. They'll get the kill. Nimbus was in there as well. So the BKB is used by the Faceless Void. Lifestealer has to blink away. And Butterfly picked up by the Viper.
Yeah, that's just the power of Radiant's damage right now. There's basically just two heroes there, just the Zeus and the Void. And, you know, it's just Void proving why Void's a super good late game hero right now. It turns out when you get the lockdown a hero for 5 seconds, it's really strong.
So 4 heroes smoked up for the Dire side. They've got the Infest into the Earthshaker. He's got Echo Slam available. No Chronosphere just
They
yet.
gotta be quick.
There are 3 heroes down here bottom for Radiant. They come in. There's the Infest with the Echo Slam. Static Storm's going to drop on him with a Dagon to follow it up. And they'll get themselves 1. They'll get themselves 2. And that's Gem. Ooh, Ancient Apparition. Let that Gem go. That has been going back and forth.
Looks like a line is drawn. Chronosphere's down for 40 seconds. Dire might look to maybe get another pick off for this mid-tier 3.
So Void just going to continue to push top all the way to that tier 2.
Bit of an interesting maneuver from the Earthshaker. Felt like he wanted to jump someone. In fact, the Zeus is pretty much a free kill if they decide to go for it. I think they're afraid of buybacks though.
What they don't know is there are none. Take a look top. Void. Just dead.
Ooh. Yeah, this really is a game of who initiates first.
And Nyx grabs the gem right back. So Void's got buyback available. Dead for 65 seconds. Is the push going to come in from the Dire side quick enough? They're finally starting to kind of pull away with an 8,000 net worth lead as they continue to get these pickoffs. Radiant, where I feel like they should be fighting as 5 all the time.
Yeah. Or maybe not necessarily fighting 5 or fighting as 5, but at least being aware of the enemy's positioning, so knowing when they have to be grouped up. Definitely they still want to go for pickoffs with this Void, especially since this Void opted for the Shadowblade build. I think this Void's goal should be to not get caught, obviously, but also be constantly looking for kills and making the enemy team scared, because you can pretty much kill anyone on the map with AA ult and Zeus Nimbus. Zeus is starting to pick up a refresher. That'll be quite interesting.
Double ult, double Nimbus.
Yeah. This Zeus is fat.
And he didn't really have that great of a start either.
Yeah, but no one's really paid attention to him at all. It's almost comical to see an offlane Zeus this farmed.
Well, is that what tactical feeding? Everybody thinks he's so far behind. Nobody bothers to look at him. And you follow that up with some nice farming. Stun comes out on 2 with the Nimbus following it up. They look to get the Ice Blast in here, and they've already taken out the Disruptor. They'll take out another one in the puck. Lifestealer behind enemy lines onto this Void, but I don't think he's going to be able to kill off the Void in time. BKB is going to be used. It's on all 3 that are alive right now. They look towards this Lifestealer. They'll get themselves 1. They look at the Phantom Lancer. He's going to be killed off as well as the Earthshaker. All 3 of those heroes die, and just Puck is alive after buying back.
Ooh. That looked really bad for a second because the Void time walked into the Disruptor ult, and I don't think he knew that Disruptor had Ag, so Void couldn't use his BKB or cheese for a little bit, but he managed to step out for a second. Actually, I think that plus 300 health talent saved the Void.
So Phantom Lancer buys back. Nimbus going to be thrown down in between this tier 3 racks and tier 4 as it actually mini stuns this Puck. And there comes the Ice Blast. But phase shift is long enough. Spike Carapace is going to hit on the Phantom Lancer. They're going to start to hit away at him. He gets bashed once, twice, and they're looking for more. But there's the Doppelganger away. And the buyback coming in from the Earthshaker. The stun comes out from the Nyx. And let's see if they can do anything else. The Waning Rift is going to follow it up. Both silence are both the Nyx and the Void. Void getting very low. The Echo Slam misses! He's going to avoid it, but he's finally glimpsed back into the Static Storm. There's the Dagon Gem on the table. Void dead for 97 seconds. TPing out is going to be that Viper. Now the rest of the team has to try and retreat. But there's a Gem on the Puck, and Nyx looking like he's going to be dead next.
Well, it was a really good turnaround from Radiant. I think they had to expend a buyout. They bought out the Phantom Lancer and the Earthshaker, so that high ground defense came at a very high price.
Yeah, especially with the Puck he bought back earlier as well.
Looks like for now, Dire cautiously pushing up to the Radiant base.
And no Void for 45 seconds. I think they're trying to force his buyback.
They're just testing it right now. They're just making sure that they don't get caught in a bad position.
Putting their toe in the water. There's the Nimbus going to come out on 3. Lifestealer in a little bit of trouble. He's going to continue to get hit by this Viper. Infests into the Earthshaker. And now Earthshaker going to use that Shadow Blade to try and set up one more time. There's the ult, spots him out. Viper hit by the Fissure. Static Storm comes out as well as the Blink in. The Infest is going to pop the Viper. Dagon dead. So he's dead for 99 seconds. Immediately buys back. There's the Ice Blast coming out on the Earthshaker. But that's an expensive buyback for the Radiant. They lose their tier 3 mid. They lose their tier 3 bottom. And that buyback was close 2 seconds ago at 2,000 net worth. Now all the way back to 10,000.
Yes.
It looks like this Roche is going to be pretty much free. They have a double damage on this Phantom Lancer. I don't see Radiant really reacting fast enough to this. They're going to need the...
Do they have a gem on any of these heroes? No, they don't. Right into the Echo Slam. There's the Fissure. Oh boy, Void already deleted. Viper's going to be next. And he just bought back. He's dead for 2 minutes. Oh.
Certainly looks pretty bad for Radiant, but they still have that buyout on Void, and they still have that huge damage potential from just the Void, Zeus, and AA. They're just going to have to be really careful of how they use it. I mean, Dire also don't have their buyouts.
There's Void buying back into this game. Lifestealer rages up, tries to run away. And Disruptor getting very low. There's the Static Storm onto the Zeus, looking for a good Chronosphere. They'll take it on the Earthshaker. And now 2 are dead. Earthshaker dead for 1 minute and 10 seconds.
Well, Radiant are going to have to make something out of this because they don't have Chrono anymore. And Dire can kind of recuperate and go for another kill somewhere on the map.
Void out of mana. You can't... You gotta stop trying to fight all those illusions.
Oh, they're worth a lot of gold, though. Maybe like 15 gold each at this point, maybe more.
It goes to full to 0 mana real fast.
Yeah, this has got a shrine though.
Roche still available, so maybe they turn this into a potential Roche. If they had the Viper up, that is.
I think both teams are scared about Roshing right now. don't really want to put yourself in a position to get initiated on, especially since, you know, it's really easy to initiate on the Roche Pit. You just go in and cast your spells. That looks like they're gonna do the opposite. Dude, I didn't know that thing.
Life Stealer.
Dude, it's stunning Roche. It's insane.
Oh,
you know, if you
Nimbus.
have two... Sorry, I'll let...
Static Storm. Nyx is caught out dead, and now they blink on forward. They're going to try and grab this Roche. Phantom Lancer as well as the Life Stealer are here. And most of the work done by the Radiant. Dire says, thank you very much, we'll take this.
You know, if you have two of those Nimbuses on top of each other and you time it right, it's actually almost a full perma stun. Or like it's like the heroes will barely move if they're just trying to get out of it.
They've got the refresher on the Zeus, so
Radiant's top shrine has fallen.
Honestly, just so much damage kind of coming out of this Zeus. I think he's gonna get an E-blade at some point as well.
Offlane Zeus, they said. It's nothing to worry about, they said. And here he is now. Showing the world what an offlane Zeus can do. Higher net worth in both the Viper and the Void.
Yeah, I mean, Zeus has been the one doing most of the lane pushing, so he's gonna get most of the gold coming in. This Void's definitely not as farmed as he'd like to be.
Got the Hex on the puck. Fested is the Life Stealer.
For now, I think Dire want to sort of go for a kill somewhere. The problem is they pretty much have to go on the Void first, and the Void's doing a good job of positioning himself. Either they go on the Void first, or they force the Void to blow Chrono on someone that has Aegis or Cheese.
It's a 19,000 net worth lead here for the Dire. It's really extended. I didn't think it was that much, or at least it doesn't feel like that much. Oh god, Disruptor.
Almost dying to the Nimbus. Just Zeus things.
They're really going to try for this Chronosphere, I think. He's going to Doppelganger. He's got Aegis, so like you said, you don't want to use it on the Aegis, but now stunned up. Static Storm comes out as well as the Fissure. Phantom Lancer in a lot of trouble, getting very low, but this is the Void in so much trouble. He's dead for 2 minutes. They kill him off. No Chronosphere, no Void. This has definitely become a lot of trouble for the Radiant.
That Disruptor Axe is actually doing so much against these BKBs.
Over top. They actually look at the Life Stealer. He's getting very low. He's got to try and run away. He's dead. 99 seconds. Has buyback. Puck not off the high ground just yet, but he's distracting this team long enough where bottom center axe is gone. Buyback's there from the Life Stealer, and running low on mana is this Zeus. He's going to use that, try and get him back to a nice spot. And there's a nice Ice Blast hitting through on to 3 members of this Dire team. Glimpse back is the Viper, and they'll reset, regain, and regroup and go for it again. But there's the Nimbus, and forced to rage and blink away is the Life Stealer.
Kill the Nimbus. Nimbus gives 100.
So,
what the?
So much, and oh boy. Earthshaker.
Interesting Echo
That
Slam.
is a really poor Echo Slam, to say the least.
I bet he got cancelled by Static Field or something. Oh, casual regenerate for the Earthshaker.
You lucky dog. Ooh, Phantom Lancer.
Oh!
Ice
What
Blast
on
Nimbus.
earth?
Oh man, I'm good. I've got this shrine here. Oh no, I got hit by Ice Blast. Oh wait, I'll be fine.
You just get killed halfway across the map and you wonder what you're doing with your life.
I'll be fine. I have enough health. No, Nimbus.
It was an Axe ult too, so I don't even think the Nimbus was necessary. PL was dead no matter what.
God. Hey, playing a bit like Peyton Manning right now.
Peyton Manning.
Throwing the football.
Football references.
Dyer's middle barracks might
Gotta lead of the hero. Gotta hit that ice blast. It's like throwing a football, I feel like. I don't know. I don't play football. Not tall enough. Not big enough.
You know, I only care hockey as a Canadian. IDC football.
Dyer's middle barracks are under attack.
Actually, you know what's cool? Curling. Curling's actually surprisingly fun to watch.
I would love to.
I don't know why, but
team.
Oh
no! Now the Chronosphere.
they got
it's
someone,
nothing.
right? No.
Lifestealer coming in, and they're all trying to come in on these heroes, and Void dead again. Oh boy.
You know, of all the Winter Olympic sports, for some reason, I find myself intrigued the most by curling. Like, I can watch that. I can watch the entire curling match, but I can't watch an entire hockey match.
I usually stay up till 4 because it's usually on real early in the morning, and they were in Russia last time, so I was staying up till 4 or 5 in the morning to watch curling.
Hell yes.
But what's even better is the biathlon. That is assassination training. That
Oh,
is the
yeah.
coolest thing. I'm just gonna ski 5 miles,
I wonder
and then I'm
who-
gonna hit a target.
Who invented that? Anyway, Dyer, they're in front of Radiant Space. AA ult connects with the Phantom.
Got the Ags on the Nyx. There's the Nimbus with the Lightning Strike, getting that puck very low, trying to get out, but this Nimbus is being such a nuisance. Lifestealer coming in deep. The BKB is going to be popped by the Viper. They're going to continue to move forward. They might even go in on this Dire team. Well, there's the kinetic field. Static Storm. Viper in a lot of trouble, but BZZ, I don't know if you want to do that. He's going to doppelganger to the low ground. They'll lose the Viper anyway. And now the Abyssal Blade hits onto this Zeus. Is a little bit too far out. They finally get that Hex. The stun follows it up. They've got the Infested Lifestealer as well, and they will get one in the Earthshaker. Void up
Can we
in 4
take
seconds.
a moment to appreciate that the Zeus has more health than the Viper and Void? 2.8k. This Zeus is incredibly difficult to kill, especially when he's regenerating so much from the Octarine core. I think there was a point in that fight where the Lifestealer was hitting the Zeus, and then the Lifestealer was like, oh, I'm not killing this guy fast enough, time to stop.
So they've got the Void back. He's got buyback available now.
This game is surprisingly back and forth, considering that Radiant is 15k net worth behind.
Yeah, I had said that before. They were 19k down, and it just seems like the game's super even.
I think a big part of that, I want to say, is the fact that the Void is behind.
As foretold.
The Void is probably not as farmed as he should be.
Yeah, he seems to be lacking, and he did go for that Mjolnir. Like, he was trying to
Right.
farm earlier in the game.
He wants to farm, but Dyer's basically in the end the game mode, so that's really not going to give a lot of breathing room for the Void, since he's pretty much got to be fighting every time it's available.
There's a smoke. Lifestealer showing himself. There's the Disruptor as well. They get themselves 2, as well as the Ice Blast. The BKB is going to be popped by this Void. He's going to get himself 1 in the Disruptor, looking for more in this Lifestealer. Nimbus to the rescue. There with the Void. And they get him down.
I don't know if that Lifestealer was just feeling ultra confident because of the haste turn, but he definitely walked into a trap there, right? And the Void was excellently positioned there.
Yeah, right in those trees, really behind, even if that smoke broke, behind Vision.
I think he felt like something was gonna happen since the enemy team was missing a couple of heroes in Jackal.
A lot of illusions here for BZZ, making work of this Rax over mid. They sent a couple heroes back, so you gotta be very careful. Doppelganger just out of Nimbus, but right into the hands of this Nyx. There's the Hex with the Ice Blast. Force Staff gonna save him for now, but they've got the Fissure. Spike Carapace is gonna hit. There's Nimbus again. Hello, Darkness, my Nimbus friend, and they will get themselves a kill on the Earthshaker. Buyback from the Disruptor. Because meanwhile, over mid, they've lost their tier 3 and Setarax. They've lost a tier 4. BKB's popped around the horn. Viper just going to try and get away, but Fissure says, no thanks. So Viper falls, and all of a sudden, he buys back, and it's...
Does Radiant think it's time to fight? They have the Chronosphere again.
And they have Chronosphere. This is getting very interesting. They've
They
got
might
the
know that-
Nyx.
I think that they probably know that the Lifestealer's buyback is still on cooldown.
Yeah, dead for 30 seconds, no buyback, and they go for the Shrine. Roche up in 40 seconds.
The puck. So when the Phantom Lancer got caught in front of the Radiant space, the puck hexing the Zeus actually saved the Phantom Lancer because the Zeus refreshed to get his hex back up, but wasn't able to cast it again. So it was a really good move by the puck to go for that hex.
This is Double Dimension coming back from a 19,000 net worth deficit so far. They're still down 9,000, but they are, you know, looking to close out this series, qualify for the main qualifiers, you know, qualifying for a qualifier. And, you know, they are one game away, and they're going to give it everything they can, and so is the other team. They don't want to go home just yet. Making this game very interesting 67 minutes in. I don't think I've seen, without an Alchemist, this many Ags in a game. Ancient Apparition, Zeus, Nyx, not Viper, not Void
Ice
just
Frog's
yet.
just been slowly
actually,
buffing. Oh my god, goodbye
Disruptor dead,
Disruptor.
Nimbus there, and they're going to try and take out this Nimbus. That's the wrong move from the Lifestealer. He's going to be taken out by this Void. He's got the BKB. They're continuing to hit away at him. The stun's coming in
Doesn't
for the
have
Nimbus,
buyout.
and there he is, dead again. 100 seconds, no buyback. And Nyx right on the tail of this puck. There's the Hex to follow it up, and he has to get out.
You know, the real deal is that Ice Frog's been slowly buffing every Ags. That you end up with heroes like Phantom Lancer that have usable Ags abilities. You know which Aghanim Scepter is underrated? Hold on, let's see if this is a kill for Puck or Dead Puck.
Dead puck. There it is. LeBron Joda with the Void. Get the kill.
Yeah. Legion Commander Aghanim Scepter is underrated.
This could just be
We'll
it. They have
talk about it in another game because
Puck, Earthshaker, and Phantom Lancer. They're losing their tier 4. There it is. The Dire Ancient exposed. Nyx just sitting in their base. With that ult, BZZ comes in. They've got the BKB popped by the Viper. They're going to continue to work on this Ancient. It's getting a little bit low. It's at about half health. They've taken out the Nyx. And now, let's see what they can get. They've got the Echo Slam to fly through, but not really doing all too much. They've got the Tether on these two. It's the Dream Coil that hits on Viper as well as the Void, but Phantom Lancer not going to survive it. He ends up buying back. They look for the Viper, still trying to kill him off. The Nimbus just doing work. Zeus is here, and Zeus is ready to help out his Void. With the Phantom Lancer here, they're going to try and take away all his mana. They finally take out the Faceless Void. He's dead for 99 seconds. The Ancient down to 400, 300 health. It's still alive. They take out the Zeus. They'll survive so far. So Zeus buys back. Doesn't it?
you know,
No, it doesn't. Nimbus
I
doesn't.
appreciate the commitment from Radiant there because even the Zeus was right-clicking the Ancient, but definitely I think there was a bit of an error there where Radiant blew their fortification and Dire was still wailing at the Ancient for some reason.
So they buy back on the Void. There's the Ice Blast being thrown at the Phantom Lancer. He'll avoid it. Hits the puck. And Nimbus used. They're not going to hit on anybody. So you've got the Ancient exposed. 500 health just about. But you've bought back on a couple of these heroes. You can't really commit. If you do die, it would almost be a full throw.
You know, they can do what I like to call the AUI maneuver. So I played a pub with AUI one time where the throne was exposed, and then he told our team to just smoke into their base and try to kill their throne through backdoor protection. And then we lost because they ended up having fortification back up, like someone forgot to, or someone took the incorrect time or something. So they could always go for that. But if they do it in the next minute, they'll know that the fortification's down for sure.
This could turn into an interesting base race. Maybe.
God.
They're coming in. They're through the Sentry Ward. They're going to take it out.
The tide
Void has Chrono and Viper up in 8. He's set up towards these mid-racks. Wow, Lifestealer doing a lot of damage there.
I want to blow up this Void. If they blow up the Void really quickly, it'll be game. But oh,
Nimbus, Ice Blast, Chronosphere, bye-bye Phantom Lancer. 2 minutes. That's roughing, and you are gone.
Dire feels like they still have to go in here. They can't let Radiant get to their base because that throne is exposed and very low. So they're looking for a kill here.
Vendetta for the Knicks.
They don't really have any vision of Radiant's heroes.
Dire are scanning for enemies.
Oh, Nimbus again, almost making work to this Earthshaker. They're trying to find something. He's going to use that Shadow Blade. Annihilation. Puck's here, spotted out by the ult. There's the Static Storm. It's not going to hit on anybody just yet. They've got the Nimbus. The Disruptor getting very low. There's the Infest. He's going to pop away. Blinks out, and the Cold Feet's going to be on him. He'll be taken out. 3 heroes dead. None of them have buyback. And it's just Puck and the Earthshaker. Waning Rift. Trying to stop these creeps. Oh no,
my
the
gosh.
Nimbus!
You see what I mean? Do you see what I mean?
The
Look
Nimbus!
at that!
Oh no!
That's ridiculous.
It matters not to me.
That's just so unfair.
I mean, you almost never see that happen, but it's like the Venn diagram of death, you know?
Oh my god.
You know, on both sides. Oh, whoa,
Echo
wait,
Slam
wait.
comes out. BKB is going to be popped. He's the only one alive.
He ran out of mana.
Nimbus!
Look at his inventory.
Oh my
He
god.
sold everything for a refresher orb.
There's GG, and Double Dimension take this series. They qualify for the main qualifiers. They take the series 2-0. Congratulations to Double Dimension. Oh, I can't get over that Venn diagram of death. That was insane.
Both sides are pain, and the middle, the overlap is death.
So Double Dimension, they win. And let's take a look at this graph, because they never had a lead in this game. So, down 20,000 net worth at some points, and still pull out the win. It was Zeus, the offlaner with a rough early game, doing work.
It turns out when you have a 91,000 hero damage Zeus that you win the game.
Oh my god, that's double anything anybody had on the Dire side. Wow. So that's it. Double Dimension win. They move on to the next qualifier. That's it from us. Your caster BCop. I'm joined here by Franz. I'm at BCop92 on Twitter. He's at Hello Franz. Great day of Dota. Any last words before we go? Or any thoughts on Double Dimension?
You know, those are really fun games to watch, and I wasn't really expecting a offlane Zeus to do so well, but he definitely was a big reason why they won that game. I mean, not only did he do a ton of damage, his Hex and the stun from the Ags just did a huge amount of utility for lockdown, and being able to just like kill enemy heroes without using the chrono was also very useful, if that makes sense.
It makes sense to me, but... So, Double Dimension, they win. That's it for us. Thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. I think South America for this tournament, their qualifier is going to be coming up next. And stay tuned if you guys want to watch that. Thank you guys for watching. And put you guys on a little standby before I go offline. Thank you, Franz, for joining me. And hopefully you hear from both of us again soon. So, thanks a lot.